I'm Diego Céspedes. I'm a writer and director. I'm from Chile. I'm living here now. I did some shorts before called The Summer of the Electric Lion and The Melting Creatures, and this was my first feature film. It's very different to the rest, and I'm very happy with it.
Would you live in France now?
Because there's more culture, access to the culture here.
Yeah, sure. Are you going to stay here?
Yes.
Forever?
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, but the cloudy days are very strong for me.
It's not good.
Not good. Yes. Yeah. Today, I'm very happy because of the sun.
Yes.
Yes.
Me too.
¿Tú sabías algo sobre la peste?
Los mineros dicen que todo empieza cuando un cazador conoce una presa. Va a ser algo terriblemente terrible.
What was the main point for you to start writing this movie?
Yeah, now I've been talking a lot about the movie, and I always that the people ask me this, I'm like, it's not true when a director tells you like, this movie is because of this, because we with the time you manage to say the same answer all the time. So, and I think that the movie is very different. It's too long in the making, so you have different ideas and different reasons to do it. And for example, one of that I always say is that the characters of Lydia and Flamenco are inspired in my two siblings. When I saw my older brother, my younger sister painting the nails of my older brother, and I think that the idea, the draw of them, but my brother was blonde. He's not blonde, of course. And that was the first image of the relation of these two characters that went through the entire process. Another part is that I always had the AIDS story in my mind. I come from the suburbs in Santiago, and my parents had a hair salon there. Yeah. And they work with gay men, and all the gay men died of AIDS. So I think that indirectly also was working in some part of my head when I was writing the film. But the film is, as you watch it, so you know that it's kind of a roller coaster sometimes. And then you have characters like Mama Boa, who appears after and has a lot of inspiration in Paula Dinamarca, who plays Mama Boa, and also her own grandmother. So there's a lot of things mixed in the movie, but I think that what is the relation is they are all trying to look for love and a family. That's maybe the thing that unite all of it.
Thinking about the characters, all your characters are amazingly written. How did you manage to write something that seems so truthful in a way? And did you cast real transgender people?
Yes, it's a very different cast because all of them are people that didn't appear in cinema or in this kind of cinema before. So they are all new faces, and that was a thing that I really wanted. Except Clemente, he's an old actor, but all the others are new faces, and I think that that's for me one of the great achievements of the film, because when you go to Chile you see too many different faces, too many different colors all the time, and there's a thing that happens in Latin America that we are all trying to put very white people playing ourselves when the country and the region is very mixed. And we look for every part of the country. Like we look for this group of children. Lydia was very difficult to find. All the girls, we went to the community, and yes, all the trans girls are trans girls. Other of the community, other people from the community were playing the same roles, because this is a canteen that don't just go with trans people. A lot of reviews put the film like a trans western.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the canteen is very diverse. When you go to the characters, they are not all trans. For example, Flamenco is not trans. It's a mix. It's more fluid. But we play inside the community, and inside the searching of new faces.
How did you write their personality?
A lot of them were inspiring my own family, like Lydia and Flamenco. They were actually really like my own siblings or my own cousins. I grew up in a family of women, and all of them has some personalities. And when my family watched it not too long ago, they could recognize in this. Of course, they don't look like my family, but they sometimes recognize some actions, some quotes, and that's what I always do that. And others, they bring a lot of their personality, like the girls of the canteen. They bring a lot of their personality. I'm very close to Mama Boa, who's she's the other main character, and she bring a lot of her, but also a lot of her grandmother. So we did that work with her.
Your story takes place in the 80s. How did you manage to do your researches about AIDS, especially in Chile?
We tried to, we knew that it will be in the 80s because of the AIDS pandemic, but also we tried to not go so hard with that because we always thought the story as a story that is, if you watch the movie, you are not all the time thinking that this is the 80s. Because for me, the real enemy is not the AIDS. It's all the prejudices, all the fear that the men have. So we try to go with not a specific time. So we said we did some research in the art design, in the photography. We tried to go with some decision that put the movie in the 80s, but actually we gave ourselves a lot of freedom to build it. And with the community, well, I'm part of the community, it was very easy. A lot of the girls are my friends. The most beautiful part of the film, since we've closed the cast till now, we really built a family, and we are talking all days, and we are talking about everything. And we are very, very connected, so that made everything easier. And also it was like a third part of the writing process, to have them during the movie, and also because I knew some of those people before, like Paula Dinamarca, Mama Boa. We did a short together before. We are very close friends, so she teach me a lot about that particular time in the community.
Yeah.
Que entren.
Hombres mineros estarán a cargo de la vigilancia y el vendaje de sus glóbulos oculares. Tiene que usar la venda.
Las reglas en esta casa las pongo yo.
So why did you choose to oppose these two universes, the one of the miners and the one of the transgender girl, all of it in the desert?
I think that Chile is a mining country, so we have that's part of our culture. And when I was thinking about the idea of this family, this created family, this chosen family, I thought that the best context to put them, it was this mining. It was very natural for me to think on them like the opposite group of this transgender faggots community living there. Also because it exists, there was a lot of trans houses or faggot houses when they do a lot of shows, and men were going there hidden. That happened a lot, and I think that here too, and in all the places, people went hidden to these places. So and in the mining towns, it also happened. A lot was with prostitution, but there was a thing that no one talks, and everyone went because they really want to be alive. I thought that it was very actually real to put these worlds together and to actually say what happens when they look at each other. That's what the movie talks about. It's like you have choices as human beings. We have a language, we have a communication, we have a brain. We can talk. We can have different paths in a confrontation. So the normal thing is what you think is like the group who has the power will kill the other. But actually, maybe the group who has the power also is afraid. And when they find a place that embrace them, maybe the conversation is another conversation. There's a possibility of violence. That's the one that we are seeing in the world right now. That's the one that we saw in the human history all the time. There's also the possibility of talking. There's also a more democratic way, you know? And that's what the movie, in a weird way, of course, with a lot of humor. But it's also possible. It's also possible to look at each other and to have this possibility.
Why the miners, they have an opinion, the miners. At the beginning, we can see that in the past, they were all together. And then there was this illness and they started to be afraid and to go away. They didn't want to look at them. There's something about the look. And then all of a sudden, they just change their mind. They go back together. Is it a way for you to just have that good ending and that good thing, you know, that good message?
I think that's inspired also in things that I see in reality. We think that we all agree in certain things, not to talk directly of the movie, but to talk about the world. Before the pandemic, for example, there was the feminist movement was so hard. You know, for example, in Chile, it was so hard. Everyone called themselves a feminist. After the pandemic, when the far right came and the speeches were manipulated, a lot of people think themselves as feminists, but a lot of women are afraid. There's no men talking about it anymore. There was a huge difference in a couple of years, that happens because society can actually change your speech very fast. Because people is afraid of it, and when people is afraid, they are not thinking with humanity, with tenderness. That's not there. There's just a lot of fear, and there's an enemy. People told you that it's the enemy, and it's very easy to change in our society and to be here one day and then to be there the other day. That's a thing that always happens, and in the movie. That happens a lot. When the miners go to the girls, there was a time in the movie that everyone was celebrating because no one had prejudices about it. It was like, let's go to have fun with the faggots, and we were like a common group. And then it changed. It was like, no, we need to be careful. They are dangerous. So we, as a group, we took a different decision. And what happens after is like they confront the reality. The real human being and the real human being in that house are funny, mainly, are good people. They have a place, they have their own rules, but they prefer to stay there dancing and doing fake celebration than just being sit in the middle of the desert.
I was wondering, and it probably depends on the political situation in Chile, but how do you think the locals there are going to receive the movie and have some people already sitting there back there, except your family, because it's too close to you to have an objective opinion?
You know, a couple of months ago, I had a different opinion about this question. I used to think that the globalization did a common work, that everyone will be a little bit more respectful in the different countries. But we didn't premiere yet in Chile. We're going to premiere just after France. And I realized there's no too much of respect. It's less respectful than here. Even here, here is in a protected circle. But there's no such a thing.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people, when we show a couple of times, that love the film, like all of people of the community that can understand and have empathy. Yeah. But there's another group, and right now we just shows a far right president. There's a lot of group with a lot of hate, with the hate speech in their skin. and it's very, I don't even know how to say it in English, desatado. They can do whatever they want. And in the social media, I saw it. Because when the Chilean press posts something, looks like a lot of good people is saying good things, and they want to watch a movie. There are some people that for me is the best people who goes with no prejudices and watch the movie. But there's another people that just see the word transvestite and they are like completely against it. Yeah. That's a thing that we're going to live now.
So are you afraid?
No.
No? You don't care?
No, I don't care about these people.
Good.
I'm going there now because the far right president will assume as president, so I will be there in the march against him.
Well, that's gonna be good. We wish you the best.
Thank you. Okay.
So my last question is very obvious, okay?
Don't
because
worry.
I want to hear it from you. If you had kind of a message that you want people to feel when they leave the cinema, what would it be?
I really want the people to understand that there's different kind of families. The families are just created to love, being loved back. That's the basic in a human being, to be loved and to love. And I think that it doesn't matter how you do it. It doesn't matter what do you have between your legs. The important thing is that you find a position in this world. And that's what the movie tries to transmit. There are no people who are actually connected by blood, but they love themselves as a real family.
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of violence, obviously, but I felt that everybody was being loved. Well, I mean, in all forms of love between the people, between the transgender girl, between Clemente and Mama Boa, Lydia. There is this love thing, and I think you transmitted this in the most beautiful way. So it's great.
Thank you. Did you see the poster, the French poster? With the gun?
Yeah.
It's amazing. I love it.
I understand the way they call it a Western because...
Yeah, but the quote in French is so like a soap opera. I love it. It's une famille plus forte que le lieu de sang.
Yes.
It's like a telenovela.
The photography of the film was very beautiful. Did you have some inspiration, movie, visual inspiration for create this universe?
When I was thinking on the film, I always thought about it like these old books of children, kind of composed, but with some horrible things, because the old book has a lot of horrible things. And that was the image for me, and that has that
okay,
and that's why I put it like that. We try to do a composition, like beautiful composition sometimes, but sometimes it was completely out of place because the story sometimes go completely out of place. That was the idea, and the colors also. We always try to do these weird flowers growing up in the middle of the desert. So there's a lot of difference between the colors of the houses, the color of the girls, and the empty desert.
Je trouve que le format dans le désert, ça enferme bien les personnages, ça renvoie à leur solitude, et en même temps, ça exploite bien dans la composition de l'image, la grandiosité de ce décor.
Yes, totally. Because when you this kind of format gives you that the greatness of the desert. When you compose, like thinking like in a photography, everything looks more beautiful. Like you see that desert that is it should be horrible to live there. Like in this particular town, there's a lot of towns that are very nice, but this one it should be horrible. But then when you compose in this, you just see like these little tiny houses. And you see like something is growing up. So yes, great. Like it does the desert great, but it's actually horrible. And I give you the contrast. It's true also the solitude of the people, because when you could also compose in this, you see it like big desert and small people. There's a lot of shots that has Lydia just walking in the middle of the desert, and also it is her. Like when she's out of this canteen, she's alone in the middle of the desert.
Do you have some queer movie that we should see that you love?
I have a lot, but I want to give you a special one, like a weird one. A film that I really liked, like a queer film. My favorite film is Happy Together.
Okay.
My favorite film. I think that they're, like, for the time that they did it, it was such a avant-gardiste. Like this homosexual relation in that time with such a sensibility, when we weren't allowed to have sensibility in that time, makes me like, gives me more.
Okay.
That's your favorite movie?
Sometimes, but I change a lot. It can be today.
Yeah.
I saw your short film with the same character.
The Melting Creatures.
Yes.
Yes.
And was it the first premier G?
It was because my first short, it wasn't related, just talk about familiar siblings relations, which is the thing that actually have the feature. And with the second film, I really want to explore the queer community. So yes, is a first approach to the film, but in a very different way.
Yeah.
Because this short is more static. It's more like a gaze of that world, but very afar.
Yeah.
And yes, it was the first, and also was a Paula. The main character was Mama Boa in that short. Then we became very close friends. So yes, she opened to me a lot of doors. When I start to know the trans community, the travesti community, because they call themselves travestis, for me it opened a door of people with such a sensitivity. People it was so beautiful, like how they actually survive, they create families, they build a lot of things. These stories are not in the big screen, and it really moved me because it reminds me a lot of things that that I was connected with. For example, as I told you, I lived in a suburb in Santiago, and we always had travestis. But they were always very discriminated. We're like this weird man that looks... And when you know after the other part of the story, I was like completely moved. Okay. And I really don't want to go like this. And actually I'm going to shoot another short now that is like the end of this trilogy of the travesti trilogy that is also... talking about it.
So thank you very much for being here, answering our question. It was great. I hope you get better with your fever. It's
I've
sunny,
been like this
so...
like a lot. Yes.
Probably the sun will help. So
yes.
get cured by the weather.